Right now, on To the Point. Mask ban backlash.
This is one of the most stupid and useless laws that has ever gone through the California State Legislature.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office and other agencies respond to the new law prohibiting officers from wearing masks while on duty. With evidence mounting, a closer look at the possibility of bail for the man accused of shooting into our ABC 10 studios. Tough talk at the United Nations.
I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
President Trump's Americans First message to world leaders. Back to the moon and beyond. NASA is looking for a few good astronauts for its next big mission. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To the Point. I'm Becca Habiger. Governor Gavin Newsom signed a controversial bill that bans law enforcement officers from wearing masks while on the job and thereby obscuring their identities. Senate Bill 627 is a response to recent immigration enforcement from the federal government. Now, local law enforcement is telling ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen how this will impact their day-to-day. Jeannie?
Becca, the bill's author, Senator Scott Wiener, says this applies to local and federal law enforcement, but makes exceptions for CHP. However, legal experts say that may be difficult to enforce on a federal level. And now local law enforcement tell me this will hardly change how they police.
This bill really doesn't even relate to what our guys and women do when they're out there protecting our streets.
Governor Gavin Newsom signed Senate Bill 627 into law. It's a controversial bill aimed at addressing the recent ICE raids in the state by banning local and federal law enforcement officers from wearing masks while on the job. The California Highway Patrol is exempt, but even with this new law, the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office says the language is confusing.
Our guys and women wear those sunglasses all the time for protection. In this bill, it does state protective eyewear, but never does it state sunglasses. So can we wear them? Is this allowed?
The bill's author, Senator Scott Wiener, says that confusion is causing misinformation.
Local law enforcement now saying that maybe the bill bans sunglasses. That's false. It doesn't. That maybe the bill bans motorcycle helmets. That's false. It doesn't. So there's a lot of drama being spread around this bill. This bill does not ban any of those things. What it does do is say, don't put a ski mask on.
In Governor Newsom's signing letter, he asks the legislature to follow up in January to remove any uncertainty or ambiguities. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says this will change nothing, and this type of bill is just a political statement.
There's quite literally nothing we can do to assist ICE or Border Patrol or any other agency engaging in immigration.
The Department of Homeland Security says it will not abide by the law. In response, Senator Wiener says ICE agents can be sued if they violate the law, and it's defensible under the U.S. Constitution.
There are both criminal and civil consequences if you violate the law.
But policy analysts say convincing the courts won't be easy.
If this matter went up to the U.S. Supreme Court with a 6-3 conservative majority, I think that they would readily find that California cannot regulate face coverings of federal law enforcement officials.
Sacramento Police and the Placer County Sheriff's Office gave us statements that we have posted on our website at abc10.com. Becca, I will know all these local police agencies tell me their number one focus is keeping communities safe.
Jeannie, thank you. Jimmy Kimmel returns to Late Night tonight, right here on ABC 10. After his comments in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination, Disney, the parent company of ABC, suspended Kimmel's show. The temporary pause came after FCC Chairman Brendan Carr warned the FCC could take action against local broadcasters over Kimmel's comments. Yesterday, Carr denied threatening to revoke the licenses of ABC stations that aired Kimmel's show, saying instead that Disney made a, quote, business decision to take the comedian off the air. Now, keep in mind, ABC 10 is an ABC affiliate, but not owned by ABC. We are owned by Tegna. Tonight, we're digging into court documents that push for no bail after last week's shooting into our ABC 10 news station. Now, a federal criminal defense attorney is weighing in on whether the suspect, Anibal Hernandez Santana, could be released while waiting for his next court hearings. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has the details.
A few days after the arrest of Anibal Hernandez Santana, and evidence on the record is mounting regarding allegations made against him. Federal criminal defense attorney Candace Fields is weighing what factors the judge will have to consider.
The judge is going to have more information to consider regarding the danger to the community.
Hernandez Santana, accused of shooting into the ABC 10 news station Friday afternoon, is now being held at Sacramento County Jail without bail. According to federal court documents, Hernandez Santana faces 3 federal charges, including possession and discharge of a firearm within a school zone. Documents reveal that about 2 minutes before firing 3 rounds in front of the ABC 10 station, he fired a single shot while standing on the public sidewalk at 2555 3rd Street. Investigators determined that the initial shot was several hundred feet away from both Health Professionals High School and Latata Floyd Elementary School. Fields says the distance could be a significant factor in the case.
I believe it's alleged that this particular person not only was registered on the firearm that was seized, but there are some firearms that are associated with this person who have not been seized. And that makes the risk higher to the community.
Fields says both state and federal judges will consider several factors, including family and community ties, employment, and criminal history. Fields says a note found in his car suggesting additional potential targets could raise serious concerns for a judge. Documents from the Superior Court of California are asking that the defendant be kept in custody and held without bail. They say that based on the latest facts of the case, the defendant is considered a clear and present danger to the public.
Because this defendant has no criminal history whatsoever, he's a retired lawyer, he has ties to the community, family ties, he could turn in his passport. He's not a flight risk. In all likelihood, he could be released and show up to court. The issue is danger to the community.
A spokesperson for Hernandez Santana's legal defense team also sent us this statement saying defendants accused of wrongdoing are presumed innocent at all stages in the legal process before trial. Depriving a defendant of their liberty before trial makes the entire legal process longer and more difficult because it creates additional hurdles that defendants and their lawyers must overcome to prepare a robust legal defense that everyone is entitled to. The Sacramento County Voter Information Guide will soon be hitting mailboxes. The Voter Registration and Elections Office started mailing the guide to registered voters ahead of the November 4th statewide special election. They're expected to arrive this week. Guides will include ballot drop box and vote center locations, the measure on the ballot, and other important dates and information. The November special election will ask voters to approve or reject proposed redrawn congressional maps. Those maps are designed to help Democrats gain as many as 5 U.S. House of Representatives seats. It's a response to Texas Republicans advancing their own redistricting plan to bolster their House majority by a similar margin. If voters approve the measure known as Proposition 50, the new congressional map would take effect in time for the 2026 midterm elections. Both campaigns for and against Prop 50 are making concerted efforts to sway California Latino voters ahead of the November special election. The Democratic National Committee kicked off Spanish-speaking canvassing over the weekend, and Republicans with the No on 50 campaign rolled out Spanish-language ads. And new polling out from Tuesday from the Latino Community Foundation shows just 46% of Latino voters plan to vote yes on California's new congressional maps. Sacramento political consultant Mike Madrid has studied Latino voting trends for more than 3 decades.
Both sides are missing the opportunity to speak to Latinos on the overwhelming concern that they have about this state and this country, which is the cost of living, the cost of housing, and the affordability of everyday life. So there's this conventional narrative that all of the ICE crackdowns and all of the raids that are happening are moving Latino voters in a very significant way. There is no question at all that it is having an impact. But there's also no question that it's not having nearly the impact that people think it is compared to the economy and the economic situations that Latinos find themselves in.
More people in California's 12 Latino-majority counties voted for Trump in 2024 than in 2020, but Madrid says this might not be a trend. Well, another candidate entered the California governor's race today. Ian Calderon made the announcement on X. Calderon is a former Democratic Assembly Majority Leader. He was elected in 2012 and was the first millennial to serve in the state legislature. After leaving office, Calderon founded the political advising firm Majority Advisors. He joins the list of other Democratic candidates, including Antonio Villaraigosa, Betty Yee, Katie Porter, Tony Atkins, Tony Thurman, and Javier Becerra. And still ahead on To the Point, fall is here, but in some parts of the country, it's beginning to look a lot like winter. And later, NASA is gearing up for its next giant leap, training a new class of astronauts who could one day fly to Mars. How they're preparing for deep space.
Oh, well, they may be feeling winter. We're still feeling summer. Take a look at these afternoon highs. Upper 90s, near 100, even 91 for San Francisco. Talking showers and cooler weather, though, by tomorrow.
But first, in other headlines tonight.
As nurses, especially at the bedside and at the clinics, we have seen chronic understaffing for a while.
Nurses raising their voices in a one-day informational picket across 22 Kaiser facilities throughout California, speaking out against layoffs, wage theft, and AI issues. Kaiser Permanente said in a statement that they already exceed or meet staffing regulations. The Secret Service says it seized a cache of equipment in the New York region capable of crashing the cellular network. It comes as world leaders gather for the United Nations General Assembly. Agents found more than 100,000 SIM cards and 300 servers that could cripple cell towers, inhibit emergency responses, or be used for surveillance. Ryan Ruth was found guilty today of attempting to assassinate Donald Trump at a Florida golf course last year. After the verdict, Ruth tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen, but was quickly restrained by officers. Ruth, who represented himself in court, faces life in prison. Sentencing is scheduled for December 18th. Today is the first full day of fall, and while we're still feeling the summer-like heat, Colorado is looking more like winter. The state had its first winter weather alert of the season issued for the high country. Parts of Rocky Mountain National Park could see 4 to 10 inches of snow by tonight. And now ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods joins us. Monica, definitely not wintry here.
No, certainly not. In fact, we're going to have another warm night with us after those highs near 100. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, tracking showers, though, as soon as tomorrow. Not only, though, in the short-term forecast, but also in the longer-term forecast as well. Hourly weather, as you can see, clear skies for tonight. Morning clouds, though, starting to develop, and that's all part of our shift to a wetter weather pattern in the forecast. Right now, those showers are kind of streaming their way just off the coast. Lots of lightning strikes, so there's certainly some instability, some convection in there, which will lead to the opportunity of thunderstorms locally. Tomorrow, we'll see that increase in cloud cover coming in for our Wednesday. Showers really holding off through much of the day. It's not until we get into the evening that we start to see some isolated showers and then a chance of overnight thunderstorms rolling through the valley. This is mainly going to hug a line right along I-80 and point south. During our Thursday, still a chance for some isolated thunderstorms as well throughout the Sierra. So tomorrow we kind of expand that throughout the valley as well as towards the coast. And then Thursday, that's confined to the east side of the state and for the higher elevations as well. And then we get into what we typically see more of a pattern for our fall, a colder low starting to stream our way, bringing us a chance of fall showers. Highs are going to warm to near 80 tomorrow for the Sierra, 70s and 80s down low, so much cooler for our Wednesday outlook. 60s and 70s along the coast. We'll get into 80s as we head inland. This is going to be about a 10 to almost 15 degree drop from where we were today. So quite a nice weather pattern developing, albeit we'll have to deal with some isolated thunderstorms overnight Wednesday through early Thursday. Little bump up in temperatures on Friday. We're back in the low 90s and then 80s as we're heading into this first weekend of fall. There you have it. Highs in the upper 70s, low 80s by early next week, and we're going to be tracking a chance for showers. After that, we're still in the 80s. Becca?
Looks like a good weekend for Apple Hill. All right, Monica, thank you. Well, after the break, President Trump takes the world stage today, addressing the United Nations for the first time since his re-election. And get ready to pay more for your favorite Disney programs. The company is raising rates for most streaming services. World leaders are gathering in New York City this week for the United Nations General Assembly. This year marks the 80th anniversary, and President Donald Trump addressed the group this afternoon. Reporter Julia Benbrook reports from the UN.
This was President Donald Trump's first time addressing the United Nations General Assembly since he was reelected. And while his dynamic with some of the other world leaders has evolved since his first 4 years in office, some things have stayed the same. He weaved in and out of his campaign-style rhetoric, and at a conference focused on international issues, he really leaned in to his America First agenda.
But today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, and there is no other country even close.
The president aired grievances throughout the speech, saying that he believes the UN isn't doing enough.
What is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential.
Several ongoing conflicts loomed large over the conference, including Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine.
It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad. No matter what happens from here on out.
As attacks continue, Ukraine and its allies are focused on long-term security guarantees. Trump met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. When it comes to the war in Gaza and the humanitarian crisis there, the Trump administration has become increasingly isolated on the issue. More than 150 countries around the world have now formally recognized a Palestinian state, with some of America's closest allies, including Canada, Australia, France, and the United Kingdom, joining that list in recent days. While those countries have argued that the move will isolate Hamas, Trump has said he believes it's counterproductive. At the UN, I'm Julia Benbrook.
NASA wants to make another giant leap for mankind by sending a crewed mission to the moon and eventually to Mars. Artemis 2 is a test mission that will fly around the moon. NASA plans to launch no later than April 2026. The goal, to help confirm the systems and hardware needed for deep space exploration by humans. Among the candidates are former military members, a geologist, and mechanical, aerospace, and biomedical engineers.
With upcoming exploration missions, we are pushing the boundaries of human performance. And the lessons that we learn are going to help us to excel not just in space, but in areas of human health here on Earth.
6 women and 4 men make up the group, marking the first time women outnumber men in a NASA astronaut class. During their 2-year training, the astronauts will learn about NASA's history and vision for the future, and will take classes in geology, water survival, and space health. Well, Disney is raising prices on the majority of its streaming service plans in the U.S. That includes most Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Select plans. Most plans are increasing by $1 to $3. This is the 3rd time in 3 years that Disney has raised streaming service prices in the U.S. The new prices are effective October 21st. An iconic costume mansion is still picking up the pieces after a devastating fire. Why the old Sacramento shop says the future of their Halloween season is still uncertain. Halloween is just around the corner, as you can tell by all of the merchandise already in the stores. But one popular costume store is still recovering from a fire back in June. Evangeline's costume mansion in Old Sacramento suffered damage in the fire. Everything on the first floor was a loss, but the mansion itself was saved. The store's general manager says they're still working on restocking merchandise and have had to reduce staffing while the store recovers. But they say they're thankful to everyone who has reached out after the fire.
Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for your support. Please come back when we're open again. It's going to be so cool. We're picking out all new paint colors and display items, and it's just going to be a brand new and improved Evangeline's.
Such a staple of Old Sacramento. While the store doesn't have a timeline for when they'll reopen, they will know more once construction begins. We wish them all the luck in their rebuilding process. Well, thank you so much for watching us and inviting us into your home. If you have something you think we should be looking into, please reach out to the team. You can email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. And To The Point doesn't end here. To watch stories featured on the show, you can download our free ABC 10 Plus streaming app to your TV. Have a great and safe night. We'll see you back here tomorrow. You too, yay.